Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Prabhu Jakacharya Asatasa Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kodavai Sundar Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prem Sikha host Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan ki jai. Shri Mayapana ki jai. Gangamaya ki jai. Jamuna Maya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Somaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Chancellor Book Distribution ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Go Premanandi. All glorious summer devotees. All glorious summer devotees. All glorious summer devotees. All glorious Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8, text number 16. Abhivata savaya kripana ena bhavana mrityhavina suttohu mamana yasya stata kirata matir akrita sukritasya krita vishramba atma pratyayena tad havighanayan sujana evhagang masiyati. Avi, indeed. But alas, sa, that calf. Vai, certainly. Kripana, aggrieved. Inabhalaka, the dear child. Nutaharini sutta, the calf of the dead one. Oh, excuse me, the calf of the dead doe. Aho. Oh, mama, of me. Anaryasya, the most ill-behaved. Sata, of a cheater. Kirata, or of an uncivilized aborigine. Mate, whose mind is that. Akrita sukritasya, who has no pious activities. Kritavishramba, putting all faith. Atma pratyayena, by assuming me to be like himself. Tat havignanyan, without thinking of all these things. Sujana iva, like a perfect gentle person. Agamishyati, will he again return. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. Bharata Maharaj would think, alas, the deer is now helpless. I am now very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter. For it is always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. The deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who has a natural interest in good behavior forgets the misbehavior of a cunning friend and puts his faith in him. Although I have proved faithless, will this deer return and place its faith in me? Purport. Bharata Maharaj was very noble and exalted, and therefore, when the deer was absent from him, he thought himself unworthy to give it protection. Due to his attachment for the animal, he thought the animal was as noble and exalted as he himself was. According to the logic of Atmavan Munyate Jagat, everyone thinks of others according to his own position. Therefore Maharaja Bharata felt that the deer had left him due to his negligence, and that due to the animal's noble heart, it would again return. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kotavachalam Pangum Langhaite Garim Yatkipataraham Bande Shiguram Dinataranam Vanchakalpatiyabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Bharat Maharaj is going more and more into Maya here, thinking that how is he going to survive? He's helpless. But he's forgetting that Krishna, he's protecting everyone. He's taking care of everyone. Just that amazing story of Sridhar Swami, the original commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. He was married, and he had a little child, but somehow he had this inkling, this desire to just take sannyas, just give up this family life and just take sannyas. But he was thinking, how is the child going to be taken care of? So as he was thinking like this, a lizard fell from the ceiling, a baby lizard, and there was a little insect there, and the lizard, so I thought, just see, Krishna's giving me some guidance here that this little baby lizard doesn't have its mother around, but Krishna's taking care of it. So with that understanding, he left, took sannyas. So it's interesting that there's a village. So in village life, it's very common that people take care of children, especially if they're missing a parent. So this little young boy was really taken care of. There's a gurukul, so he was learning in the guru, and he became a great scholar, nicely, and he became a guru for that area, for that village and other villages nearby. So Sridhar Swami, he went back there after some time, and he was pleasantly surprised to see that his son had become an advanced devotee. So this is the mercy of Krishna. Krishna takes care. Nobody is helpless. If someone, especially if someone gives their life to Krishna, sometimes it's like in Christianity, they have this prayer, give us our daily bread. If someone devotes himself to God, they don't have to worry about bread. God's even feeding the atheists. Everyone is being taken care of. So, but they pray, God, please give us our daily bread. So Prabhupada said, we are not interested in this bread business with God. No. But we want to serve God. So this is the mood of a devotee, just want to serve. And no worries, as they say in Australia, no worries, mate, it's okay. Krishna will take care. So here, he's feeling that he was cheating, for it was always filled with the cheating propensities and cruelty. He says, alas, the deer is now helpless. I am now very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter, for it is always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. Wow, he really got into this this illusion, this illusory relationship with this with this fawn. Actually, he was cheating himself because he was actually very advanced. I mean, much advanced than any of us. I mean, hopefully but he was like, phew, so elevated and so renounced. He renounced his kingdom. He was the king of the world. He renounced his kingdom, renounced his beautiful wife and children, and so much he renounced. But then he becomes attached. You see how powerful Maya is. How powerful Maya is. He renounced the world, but Maya came in as a little fawn. And Sita also, she became attracted to the golden deer. Deers are very attractive little animals. So yeah, he was cheating himself, and this is, in relationships it happens like that. This is a master and fawn relationship here. But in human relationships, just like sometimes a lady will cheat on her husband, or a husband will cheat on her wife. Infidelity, it's a big problem in the world, actually. And they get married and they think it's so nice, but then it becomes bitter. I know there's one devotee, he was married and he was sleeping on his bed. And he woke up with his wife coming at him with a knife. And he protected himself. He caught the knife. Yeah. He took sannyas after that. And it's not, I know of devotee men beating their wives. Terrible. So, but when they got married, they thought, oh, he's nice gentleman, nice man. Yeah. Then it turns out bitter. So this is a material world. We don't know. We don't know. It's actually it's a bit of a gamble. You don't know what your wife is going to be like. You don't know what your husband is going to be like. You don't know what your children are going to be like. It's like you don't know. After years and years, you don't know what they're going to be like. Like in Canada, there was an instance where there was a husband and wife, and boy and girl. And at one point, mother disappeared. No one knew what happened to her. Then the police came and got involved. Missing person. They couldn't figure it out. What happened to the lady? Couldn't figure it out. Mystery. So it was an unsolved mystery. So the police thought, well, then let's go a little deeper in this. So the one undercover policeman became the boyfriend of the girl, the girl who was now a teenager, I guess, maybe, yeah, elderly, teenager, 19 or so, I don't know. So he became the boyfriend of this girl, and they were dating, and then he said, I see your father here. Where's your mother? I haven't seen your mother. And she said, I don't know. Something happened. I don't know. She was very vague about it. Didn't answer. And they got a little closer, and he said, well, you never answered. Where's your mother? And she said, promise you don't tell? Okay, I promise I won't tell. The brother had killed the mother, and she was the only one that knew. And then, of course, the police came in and arrested the boy. Who would think? The son killing the mother. I mean, geez. It's the material world. It's just a very, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, it's a weird abode. Weird abode. And he was actually, he was a nice little devotee. He played mridanga, and he could even cook a little bit, and who would think? Yeah. But yeah, the material world. So this Bharat Maharaj, he became very attached to this fawn. Now, people here in America, our animal lovers would think, this guy's not such a bad guy. Come on, taking care of the fawn. Yeah, so what? He stopped his meditation. That's all right. He's a nice guy. And they'd probably think us Hare Krishna are fanatics, because they're not understanding. Come on, this is he's taking care of a fawn here. Saved its life practically, right? But actually, it was a big downfall. Big downfall. People think that to have a relationship with an animal, that's real nice. It's like I have a sister. She had a dog, and the dog got old and died. And what'd she do? Next day, went on and got another dog. It's like an American thing. If you don't have a dog, it's just like you're not really an American family. You gotta have a dog. And it's amazing, the service they do for their dogs. I won't go into that. But better to serve God. Better to serve God. We serve God, then our future is very bright. We serve dog. There's a lot of people taking body in dogs' bodies. People that have so much attachment for their dogs. They're taking birth as dogs. And Prabhupada was speaking this at a lecture. Speaking about this, how if you become so much attached to your animals, your dogs and cats, you're going to become a dog in your next life. And one man shouted, "I wouldn't mind being a dog." Prabhupada said, "You have my blessings." And Prabhupada was amazed. Of course, here in America, dog life isn't too bad. They really get taken care of good. India, it's another thing. But they get taken care of pretty well here in America. But still, it's a dog life. What are dogs thinking of? What are animals thinking of? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's it. Can't go beyond that. But the human form of life, such a great opportunity to understand who we are, to understand who Krishna is, to get out of this whole cycle of birth and death, go back to the spiritual world. Prabhupada says in one purport that the greatest fear of a devotee is to again enter into the animal species of life. Greatest fear. Another time Prabhupada said, my disciples, they have two flaws. One, they are not enough afraid of Maya. So a devotee is generally, he's fearless. But there are some things that devotees fear. Fear Maya, fear again entering into the animal species of life. So there's some things that are healthy to be afraid of. And if we're not afraid of these things, it's not good. Prabhupada would pray for protection. Prabhupada's such a great acharya. And the other thing is that the other flaw, Prabhupada said, amongst his disciples, is they like to change things. Even to the extent where one devotee was telling Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this movement is so nice. It's such a dynamic movement. Wonderful society, great philosophy, great prasadam, great programs you have. But if you could just change one thing, instead of 4 regular principles, 3 regular principles. No gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating. Stop there. If we did that, this movement would grow like anything, because people are attached to their sex life. So Prabhupada said no. And this person was a little persistent. He was like, Prabhupada, this could be a big society. No. I'm not interested in having many stars. But if I can just have one moon, just one moon, one pure devotee, if one pure devotee comes out of this society, I'll be satisfied. I don't want many flickering stars. So Prabhupada had such integrity. And the other swamis, so many swamis came to the West and they were preaching. And they were all so impressed with Prabhupada because he just, right up front, Krishna. They were talking about yoga and meditation and, some philosophy, but not Krishna right up front. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And even one of Prabhupada's disciples said, Prabhupada, maybe we could, it could be International Society for God Consciousness, be a little more broad. No. They don't know who God is, so I'm letting them know. Krishna is God. Prabhupada was just so bold. Krishna, right up front. The Hare Krishna movement, and had devotees going around chanting, and still we do. Hare Nam. So many devotees, hundreds of devotees going around the world chanting Hare Krishna. We're the only movement in the world that goes around in the city, public places. We sing and dance. We're the only ones. It's nice society. I mean, there was one lady. I was in Europe, and I was on Harinam, and she came to me and she said, I travel around the world and I see you people all over the place. You're the happiest people in the world. So I was like, oh, good. I joined the right movement. So, yeah. We want everybody to know about Krishna. So many people, they understand there's a God. But who God is? No. They don't know. So we know, somehow, by Krishna's mercy, we know who God is. So we want others to also learn about Krishna. So it's interesting here with Bharata Maharaj how these subtle thoughts, just completely destroyed his journey. Just thinking of this fawn again and thinking of this fawn. It destroyed his journey. Well, not completely. He was able to pick it up again, but in that life, he just finished. So subtle thoughts actually in this age of Kali, you don't get a reaction for sinful thoughts. In other ages, you'd get a reaction. If people in Kali Yuga got reactions for sinful thoughts, I mean, everybody would probably be dead by now. So many reactions would come. But in this age, if you think of pious activities, you get a result for your pious actions. It's a handicap for Kali Yuga guys. So if you just think of doing pious activities, good things, you get a result. You get the good merit for that. One devotee, he was in Orlando, and he wanted to. Just like they have Disney World there, so he wanted to have Krishna World. He had big plans, just a huge. He was talking to some wealthy Indians and trying to get. I mean, you need a lot of money. He wanted to do something like to the extent of Disney World, Krishna World, with all different rides, Krishna rides, and different things. Yeah. Of course, it never happened. But he remembered that in the age of Kali, that even if you think of doing something, you get the merit. So he got some merit for that. I don't know what he got, but just by thinking of, you know, thousands of people coming and riding Krishna rides, you know, getting Prabhupada's books, and it's a nice idea. There's one interesting, very nice example of a devotee who was not a very wealthy devotee, Brahmana, and he was going through one village, and he heard at one satsang, and there was a person was speaking from the Bhagavatam, that if one does manaseva, service in the mind, then it's accepted as though you're doing, you know, as though you're doing service, you know, outside of the mind, you know, with your hands, and you're doing puja and in the mind, manaseva. So he wasn't very wealthy, so I thought, oh, that sounds like a good program. Let me do that. So he was doing deity worship. He would wake the deities up, and he would offer bhoga to them, and he would dress the deities, and he would do artiks, and he was doing everything. And it's described that he was doing this for years. Yeah. Every day he was doing this manaseva for the deities. Incredible, huh? Incredible focus, yeah? Determination, just manaseva. So he was making some sweet rice for the Lord, and as you know, sweet rice should be cool. It shouldn't be offered hot or even warm. It should be cool. It's the best way to have sweet rice. So he put his finger in the sweet rice bowl to see if it was cool. He really took it seriously, and he burnt his finger. He's like, well, how's that possible? And meanwhile, Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha, he started laughing. And Lakshmi said, why are you laughing? He said, oh, I have this devotee down in planet Earth. He's doing manaseva. He just burnt his finger from doing manaseva. So then he sent an airplane down, picked him up, and took him back to Godhead. Manaseva. One devotee said, well, I'll just distribute a lot of books, and in my mind I'll get the merit. You were thinking that too? Amoga Leela was thinking the same thing. Nice idea, nice thought, but the people don't get the books. We want the people to also get the books, right? So, yeah, manaseva is very auspicious, it's very nice. But Krishna is more pleased if we actually do the physical service. And this is what we live for, actually, to serve Krishna. This is what we're praying for. We chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We pray for this service. And Krishna is pleased when we render service. Of course, the more we give our hearts to Krishna, the more he's pleased. Yeah. So again, with this mind, manaseva, but there's also offenses. Now, in other ages, if someone committed an offense or a sinful act in the mind, they would get a reaction. Not in this. In other ages, they would. And Prabhupada gives the example of Renuka, who was the mother of Parasuram. She was out doing her chores, And a Gandharva happened to come by. And she was attracted, and she had a sinful thought. And that disturbed her consciousness. So she went back to where Jamadagni, who was the father of Parashuram, where he was. And he could understand, by his mystic ability, he could understand that she had a sinful thought. So he told his son, cut off her head for her sin. He wouldn't do it. Told another son, cut off her head. Wouldn't do it. Told Parashuram, cut off her head. Immediately he did it. Cut off her head. And Jamadagni was pleased. He said, now I'll give you 3 benedictions, anything you want. Please, bring my mother back to life without her remembering that I killed her. Immediately she came back to life without any remembrance of that. And please, my brothers as well. And they came back to life, no remembrance. Interesting. So the power of these yogis, you know. Powerful personalities. So, Manaseva. We're praying, you know, in our minds. You know, we're chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said when we're chanting, the mood should be like a child crying out to the mother. This is the mood. Like I was in the airport one time in Miami airport, and this child had lost his mother, and it was screaming. I mean, whew, got everybody's attention. Yeah. Everybody is screaming, like, where's my mother? Just screaming, screaming. And I was thinking, well, okay, I guess that's how we should call out to Krishna. To really call out to Krishna for his mercy, that we can serve, that we can somehow again engage in the service of Krishna. And this will be the pleasure. This will be the pleasure of the soul. So any question or comment?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vijaya Krishna Prabhu. I think
May I?
You may.
Prabhu, related to the purport, Atmavan Manyate Jagat, everyone thinks of others according to his own position. My question is, in what measure thinking about God according to my own position can be offensive?
Well, that depends on how we're thinking of God. If we're thinking of God as we should think of God, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, there's a verse, he says, this is how you should think of me. Kaving pranam manusasataram anor anayangsa nusmreya sarvashadataram achinchirupam adityavarnam tamasa parastat. This verse, Krishna says, is how you should think of me. You should think of me as he who knows everything. Kaving means he knows everything. We know so little. Yeah. Krishna, God, he knows everything. Kaving Prana, he's the oldest person. He's the supreme controller. We can control a little bit. Krishna, he controls everything. Yeah. Paramishvara, we're the Ishvaras. Krishna, he is Paramishvara. Kaving Pranam Manusasa Anor Anayangsam Nanusaya. He's smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. He's very small. He can go on a long walk in the atom. Very small. Anor Anusmretya Sarvashadataram. He's maintaining everyone. Everyone. In all the universes, all over the creation, Krishna, he is the maintainer. Sarvasya Datar Achin, and his form is unlimited, and he has unlimited forms. Aditya Varnam, he's brilliant, like the sun. And it's like a devotee prays, Krishna, please remove this glaring effulgence so I can see your form. He's so effulgent. It's like the Brahmajyoti is expanding from the form of Krishna. The sun is also, it's an expansion of the Brahmajyoti. You can imagine how effulgent Krishna is. So the devotee prays, Krishna, please remove this brilliant effulgence so I could see your form. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Prastat, and he can never become overcome by ignorance. This is the conditioned soul's flaw, that we can be overcome. We can go into Maya, but Krishna can never be overcome by illusion. To the contrary, he controls Maya. If Krishna sees someone is very sincere, then he tells Maya, lay off. Lay off, leave him alone. So, this is Krishna. So Krishna says, this is how you should think of me. Sometimes people think of Krishna in the wrong way. You know? They put Krishna in a box. Yeah. Oh, God can't do that. And therefore they have this saying that, can God create a stone that he can't lift? You know, they have this. They try to stump the religious people. Can God lift a stone that he can't lift? Yes, he can lift a stone he can't lift. Then he expands and he lifts it. Yeah. So there's a lot of misconceptions about God. People think there's millions and millions of people in the world here that think that God is so cruel that he sends people to hell and they burn forever. Millions and millions of people think that God is like that. Such foolishness. Here in San Diego, if a father hits his son, he can go to jail. Actually, there's an instance of a father, Indian father, who beat his son. And the son, he knew the law here in America, so he called the police. They took him to jail for 6 months. He went to jail for 6 months. So he got out of jail, and he's, living with his family again. And then after some time, he says to his son, well, let's take a trip to India. India, yeah, I'd love to go to India. Let's go to India. As soon as they got off the plane, he beat the heck out of that kid. No, that's not there in India because, of course, they misuse that. Unfortunately, it's misused. But yeah, it's common, and it's good, to get some punishments. You do something wrong. Did you guys get punished by your father? Sometimes get a little smack. Yeah, and it's good. Get some character there. You just do whatever you want. Here in America now, even the 5-year-old kids, they treat them like adults. Just no reprimand. They do something wrong. It's okay. Just do as you like. It's okay. Whatever they do, whatever they want. They come out spoiled brats. And they have so many problems, so many psychological problems. Therefore, there's so many psychiatrists in the country now. So, I don't know how I got there. Anyway, is that okay? Any other question or comment? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki?